My name is Talia and I am in Dublin, Ireland.
Awesome. So I guess my first question would be, in America, obviously we saw the hot spot in Italy, and then now Spain's going pretty bad. In the UK, what is happening in Ireland, and I guess the scenario on the lockdown and isolation.
Yeah, so great question. I think that particularly in Ireland, we're quite lucky in the sense that we are on an island. Um, and as soon as things got pretty bad in Italy, in Spain, in the UK, most of everything was pretty much put on lockdown in Ireland. So I must commend the Irish authorities for kind of like getting into action very quickly. Not to mention, I think Irish people in general tend to be quite anxious and
Mm.
panicky about things. So for better or for worse, I think in this particular situation, it worked into our favor because everybody took the rules pretty strictly and have stayed indoors and have
Um,
practiced social distancing. So at least from my perspective, it feels good. I know that there are people that have obviously been impacted here, but I don't feel like it's too much of a threat.
and then obviously the pub culture is huge in Ireland. Are they shut down, or are smoking
Completely.
really?
Totally shut down. So the pubs have been closed since I think it was the day before St. Patrick's Day. Um, so that I don't know if it was the first, maybe second time in history ever that pubs were closed on St. Patrick's Day here. But all the pubs were like the first things to shut down
Wow. And so
before restaurants actually.
are people finding creative ways to socialize?
They are, everything's virtual. So I think there's a lot of social shaming, I think, and not just in Ireland, like around the world. If you're caught interacting with too many people and in close contact, I think if you post it on Instagram or on any of the various social media forums, there's a decent amount of social shame that's happening. So most people are leaning into Zoom, they're leaning into Kahoot, they're leaning into House Party, and just finding any way virtually to connect with people, to play games, just to have a little bit of fun.
Yeah, and so you work for LinkedIn. Has there been an uptick on LinkedIn activity because people are at home and probably have a little bit more spare time?
Yeah, so it's been really incredible. Not only have we seen the member engagements uptick, but we've also seen member activation uptick as well. So it's been really, really cool to see, and it's it's become a platform for companies and people to kind of share their voice on how they're reacting and evolving or adapting really to the circumstances around us. So it's been pretty incredible to see for sure.
Yeah, really. And the idea that unfortunately there's going to be a huge spike in unemployment. So you're probably going to see people getting their profiles ready and doing
Absolutely.
things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's nice. So from our side at LinkedIn, as an employee, we have the ability to gift up to 10 premium licenses. So that's something that's been shared on lots of people's networks to say, hey, if you or somebody you know has been impacted by COVID-19 and you find yourself without a job, get a hold of somebody from LinkedIn to get access to a premium subscription. We're also partnering very closely with organizations that were heavily impacted by COVID-19. So also trying to enable hospitals and healthcare systems or retail to be able to find critical staff to meet the demands of what's happening. It's been really, really amazing.
That's great. And then obviously you're in Dublin, which is a major city. It could be compared to like any city in America. But what about like the outskirts of Ireland? Is there some of those smaller towns as you drive around, they've got all these tiny little towns.
Mm.
Is what is, and they probably don't have healthcare system close to them. Is there a concern in those areas around if there's an outbreak or like just the ability for healthcare people to help that many people?
So it's a good question. I don't think I know enough
Yeah.
to be able to share. The only input I have on that is that when all of this started, I initially wanted with a couple of friends to quarantine ourselves in one of the further remote places in Ireland. But because of all of the restrictions and lockdowns. Like all of the Airbnbs, the B&Bs, like everything is basically shut. So I think most people are staying indoors. Dublin is by and large like the most impacted area, with I think a little bit of bubbles in other parts of the country.
Yeah, that would have been an awesome time. Just kind of get on the outskirts,
Yeah,
have connectivity, but have a blast.
yeah,
That would have been,
exactly.
yeah.
Just like to have a patio and green grass and like look out onto the ocean, like that would be ideal.
Yeah, because you're very much in a city,
Yeah.
right? So, yeah. And then what about, and this is probably, it's a political question, I'm not sure if you know or not, but Northern Ireland and Ireland kind of have this, like they're different. They're not one country. Is there like a shared sources going on? How are they attempting to help each other, or are they not?
I don't know, Matt. I think, yeah, I don't know. It can be a testy subject for some, so I don't even want to.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And then how are you? So obviously you have family in America. You've got family in South Africa.
Yes.
How are you guys leveraging? Are you guys seeing each other more now? Like staying up to date? Like talk to me about that.
Yeah, so I've got basically my immediate family, I'd say 70% are in Florida. I've got a brother who recently moved to LA, and my sister is currently in Israel. So she was on a trip there, and this kind of all broke down. So she's with family there, which is really great. To be honest, I haven't connected too much with my family in South Africa, but that's just a good reminder to do that.
Yeah.
With my family back in the States, like I'm typically pretty close with them, but I think my 4 times a week calls have now turned into daily calls. So it's
Okay.
just like a quick check-in. My dad's a doctor and he's like in the hospital every day, and he's over the age of 70. So I do what I can to stay up to date and kind of, make sure he's taking care of himself.
Yeah, Florida has been a kind of late to come on board with the social isolate. Yeah, so it's been
Wild.
to see it from afar. Like you want to, like that's the hard thing about all this. Like you don't want to judge, but sometimes you're like, man, are people doing the right thing? So Florida is one of those places that we'll probably find out in the next few weeks. If
and it's so interesting, right? Like if you think about the most heavily hit place in the U.S., which was New York City for the most part, this time of year in particular, between the months of like December and March, most of the snowbirds from New York come down to Florida. And so there's this very interesting mix of New Yorkers who are there. And I mean, obviously it spreads organically as well, but I think there's just like a interesting alignment between those two states.
Yeah. Or what do you plan on doing with making use of this time? Are you gonna do anything? Like, are you gonna meditate, yoga, learn a second language, anything?
So I have set myself a goal. So I'm typically a pretty active person, and I've always really disliked running outside. But I will do anything to get outside of the 4 walls of my apartment. And we have been given a green light to go up to 2 kilometers in radius from our house.
Oh, wonderful.
So I am trying to run every day, get outside, move my body so I'm not just sitting and staring at screens all day.
Yeah.
And I am happy to say that I hit a 5K mark today, which was really nice. And hopefully we'll see that continue to go up.
That is awesome. I just heard this story this morning about, maybe it was last night, this guy ran a marathon in his backyard in the UK.
Oh.
See that?
No, that's so funny you say that. I saw another video of a guy running a marathon on a helipad. He was running in circles until he hit marathon numbers. I saw that the other day, which I thought was wild.
Yeah, it's insane. I heard on a podcast, so I didn't get to see this guy in his backyard, but essentially it was like a really small patch, and he just kept running and running for 5 hours in his backyard. That's insanity.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That takes more mental discipline than I think I have.
Yeah, there's no way I could do that. I guess for people that have never been to Dublin, tell us why it's so amazing.
Ooh, there's so many different facets to that question. I think that what makes, and obviously like Ireland is a very big place. So I'm going to narrow that down to at least Dublin, because I think there's places across the country that I haven't been to yet that I think have their own magic and charm. But for Dublin, I think what makes this city special is genuinely, it's a lot comes from the people that are here, and the Irish hospitality, the Irish humor, the pub culture. It's a very social city, and everybody loves, and it's a melting pot. So it's not even just about the Irish, it's the hundreds of other nationalities that gather here that, you know, because of the tech community, there's a number, like a plethora of different cultures, and it's such a melting pot. So I think almost the distinction between the very Irish culture you can find here mixed with the melting pot of cultures that exist, it's a very interesting dynamic that I don't think that you find in most European cities.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And so have you had a chance to go to a bunch of the like Cork and all the other places on the island?
So my biggest limitation here is that I don't really know how to drive a manual car, and I don't know how to drive on the left side of the road, which is, I know that both of those things are in my control and I can fix it, but I haven't actually gotten around to it. So I've actually only really visited Galway and a little bit of the West Coast. I've never done Ring of Kerry. I've never done Cork. I've never done Dingle. There are so many places that I want to go. But I just either need to get on a bus or a train. I can't drive.
Dude, it's so intimidating though. Because not only do you have those two elements, the roads are so skinny.
Yeah.
You know, it can be, and it's not like there's massive trucks going, but it's just how tiny the roads are. You're going to cornfield areas. It's extremely intimidating. My buddy Dave, he was the one that drove while we were there, but just as a passenger, you can feel how intense it is.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Well,
so it's on my list. If you know anybody who wants to drive me around, happy to
yeah.
on that.
Sweet. And then like your friends there, you got friends from all over the world, right?
In Dublin,
yeah,
I'd say so.
Yeah, cool. And then so LinkedIn's totally shut down. Have they gave you a date or an estimated date to return?
At the moment, we are working from home until further notice.
Okay.
They've been really incredible with their over communication, and they're trying to just kind of make sure that the safety and well-being of their employees is like the number one priority for the business right now. So they're doing whatever they can to make us feel comfortable at home, but have essentially shared with us that, you know, until we know more of what's to come, we're probably going to keep it this way for a little bit while longer.
And then have you had any of your peers or coworkers been diagnosed?
Yes. And sadly, most of them are in South Africa. So anybody I know who has been diagnosed is in South Africa. All of them seem to be doing fine and are well. But I also recognize that most of those people are in the fortunate circumstances to have the resources to get better. And so I fear for the other side of the population that doesn't have that, you know, especially in South Africa.
Yeah, I was just talking to my friend Sheila down there, and that was their concern is if it hits these pockets in the townships, what could possibly happen with this, because so many people, and that's what really that's my biggest concern everywhere is the underprivileged population. You're talking of in cultures where millions of people live in very close quarters, that if there is an outbreak, how quickly that thing can move, and then will they even have the healthcare workers or the facilities around them to get treatment? So
so it's just like a big question mark, I think, you know, we just don't know until you know, and it's a pretty scary time.
Well, thanks so much. So good to see your face, hear your voice.
Thank you.
I was trying to get Mo on with us. She said she had a meeting. Yeah, she had a meeting, so she couldn't jump out of it, but so cool catching up with you. Best of luck. I'll tell Nikki you said hello.
Please do, Matt. And have the best birthday. I'm sorry that it has to be virtual, but I think what's going to happen after all of this dies down is there's going to be one big global birthday party for everybody whose birthdays were impacted.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I can't wait to see you on in a different place soon, for sure.
Yes. Looking forward to it, Matt. Keep well.
You too, girl. I'll see you.
Alrighty.
Hello, everybody. I am Silvia Tamburiello from Italy, from Ancona, a town in the center of Italy on the Adriatic Sea. In my life, I am a computer science teacher. I have also some TV and radio programs with friends from US and from Argentina. And hello, everybody, and God bless you.
Very nice. So Silvia, you are obviously in Italy, though you're in the middle of the country. In America, we've seen a lot of news about how Italy is handling the coronavirus and really how bad it's been. Can you give us some insight on what is happening near you, near your town?
Well, it's a very sad period. At first, people were affected mostly in the northern part of Italy, in Lombardy. But then the virus spread because people moved, of course, for work, for study, and for any other cause and other reasons. At first, the government asked only a part of Italy to stay close at home, very close. Then, starting from March, school closed, and then some industries closed, and then every day, almost every day, our prime minister talked at the TV, asking us more restrictions in order to be more safe. Now, whole Italy, schools are closed, factories are closed, most of the shops are closed, just only the grocery stores, pharmacy, and that's it. So we have to stay home, but it's for our safety. We can just get out for minimal movements for necessity.
Has Ancona been affected in a big way as far as people getting sick and lives lost?
In my town, Ancona, many people were affected, but is not the worst cities. Ancona is in a region called Le Marche, and in the northern part of Le Marche, Pesaro, the Pesaro province, is the most affected, and also was one of the most affected areas in Italy, together with Lombardy and Emilia-Romagna. So, as we are close to Pesaro, and the governor of Le Marche made strict restriction as well for all the region. We know that the best way is to stay home, wash hands, and all what you already know as well. Wear masks wherever, every time we get out. And I agree with this, of course.
Absolutely. When we were in Italy, we noticed how social and how friendly everybody was. The Italians are. They like to go out to dinners in big groups. Even our big group that we were with, it was 8 people. The cafes, even the parks, they're very crowded all the time. So it must be a big impact to your daily life and how people interact with each other. Have they taken it well, being at home by themselves?
Well, you're right. It's a big impact because we are used to be very, very social. And we are used, for example, on the weekends to get dinner, lunch together, something like that, and go to see a soccer games. So now we can't do this. But it was hard for many people to accept this. Actually, I see this on the TV, as I'm not going out and I'm not in contact with many people. Something happened very nice, as many people want to get connected as well, to express themselves. For some days in the evening, at the same time, they get out in the balcony and start singing. Yeah. And start waving and start to express our sociality in a safe way. Also in an ancient way. I mean, is this the way we socialized before the social media, just from talking from a balcony to another, as our grandmothers did.
That's wonderful.
That's the way. And also there was some days at the same time, we heard the national anthem, the Inno di Mameli, which is our anthem. And this is to thanks and to say hello to all the people who is working hard as doctors, nurses, volunteers. This is something happens also like that in front of many hospitals. People in a safe way, of course, stand in front of some hospitals with the national anthem to say thanks to all of you.
Wow.
It was emotional.
Yeah, those videos are even famous in America of the people singing off the balcony. They've even become famous over here on our social media, and we've watched a lot of those videos, and they're very moving and touching. When it comes to Italy, tourism is a very important part of your economy. Is the government helping those shops, restaurants, and just the people working at those places by providing them income? How are they making it through this difficult time?
Actually, tourism and culture industries is very affected, especially now we are going to summer, it's closed. So lots of people already make a reservation, they booked everything. And now all the people are coming in Italy. The government, let's say almost every day, is adding new rules and new way to improve economic aids to many workers, to many social classes, as well hotels, restaurants, as lots of other economic business.
Well, hopefully you feel like America is supporting you because, as you know, we have many Italian Americans in our country. So we really kept a close eye on Italy because of that reason. Let me ask you this. So kind of switching gears a little bit, what have you been doing in isolation? What have you worked on? Fun projects? Have you been working on a life skill? Like what things have occupied your time the most?
Well, actually, I'm very busy because as a teacher, as a computer science teacher, I teach in a high school, several high schools. Some of them started learning lessons. So instead of going to school, but at the same time, I meet virtually my students on the computer. And as a computer science teacher, I help my colleague who can't use the computer or use these tools easily. And also children's as well. And also, I want to tell you that teaching in this situation is not just help them to learn, but is a social help. I mean, we understand that even if before this period, most kids say they hate to go to school, they were bored, they bored to get up early, something like that. But now they are happy to meet because they are friends. Yeah. And this is, I understand it's very important what we are doing. The most important thing for a teacher is getting involved kids, ensuring them their usual rhythm, so they to have something to do every day. Of course, they are slow. Our lessons are slower, but we understand also that we can get to take them together in a virtual way, in a safe way, and we take care of those who can't connect because maybe they can have problems in their family, and we try to help them. This is a job of a teacher, not only teach, but also take care of the students.
Absolutely. Structure, we would call that structure here in America, just giving them those day-to-day regiments that keep them moving forward makes total sense. Is there anything else that you want to share, any particular points that you want to share about what we're going through?
Actually, I want to talk about the Italian health system, which is public. I mean, I realized that the public health system can want to guarantee the best treatment to everyone, regardless if one is rich or poor. Of course, this period is exceptional. the system, everybody, all of us weren't ready to deal with this. And hospitals are full, new hospitals are preparing. But sometimes, and for example, we want to improve the capacity of our hospital because we don't want to have to choose who can be treated instead of someone else. We don't have this kind of mentality. But sometimes we realize there was some days that they realized that maybe if you have few places in emergency room, they had to make a choose, but it was very few cases. The best way is to help them the most as possible. There are nurses and doctors, they are angels. They are doing their best. And the only way to help them is to stay home, take care of ourselves in order not to improve, to get more people go to the hospitals. Italian people, as you said, used to be social, want to get out, and sometimes there are this kind of behavior, but most of the Italian people are responsible now about this.
Yeah, it's a really odd phenomenon that everybody around the world is sitting at home. It's so different. Okay, so after all this, after we pass this situation, people are going to travel again. Please tell us what makes your town and the cities near you so special. I know why they're special, why they're special to me, but please tell why people should visit your part of the world and discover what Italy is all about.
Thank you. And I try to introduce my country, my town and my region, which is Le Marche. Le Marche is a plural name, which means there are lots of wonderful things inside. There is sea, mountains, hills, and especially there are lots of small villages where you can taste kind of life and food as once. For some reason, it's similar to Tuscany and Umbria, but is not so famous, is not so crowded. So you can experience the real Italy, I can say. And we have wonderful beaches, different types of beaches with small sand in the north. Then in the center, where is the Conero mountain falling down to the sea, there are rocks. And then again, sand. So every kind of sea you like, you can find in Le Marche. And there are also mountains, good food, good people who want to hug you.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, we experienced the amazing food and the people were so kind, as you described. Well, Silvia, thank you so much for joining me on this and describing your situation. Everybody in America is thinking about Italy and praying for you, hopefully to get through this real soon and get back to some sort of normal as summer comes in. So best of luck to you and your family, and thank you so much.
I am Hiro Ishii. Hiro, call me Hiro, from Tokyo, Japan, in Japan, Asian country.
Very good. Nice talking to you.
Okay.
So we met in Melbourne, Australia.
Yeah, right.
And
right.
at that time, you were studying your English.
Yes, that's right.
And
Australia.
You took a long trip to many parts of the world. And now you are back in Tokyo.
Yes.
And we have all of this coronavirus issues going on all over the world.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
Yeah. In Tokyo, it sounds like there is more activity coming in these last few days.
Yes, that's right.
Please tell me about what's happening in Tokyo.
In Tokyo, today, in Japan, Prime Minister Shinzo Abe announced that we have to be in big trouble. And so the Japanese government announced the state of emergency and he declared. So from now on, about 1 month, we should stay home about 1 month.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
and as you may have guessed, Japanese famous actor and comedian, Ken Shimura, died from coronavirus. It was very shock for all of Japanese people. Yeah,
Wow.
that's
That's
right.
very sad.
It's so sad. Yes.
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 Has anybody been
Yes.
affected by COVID-19?
Yes.
Any of your friends or family?
Yeah. Thank you. Fortunately, at this moment, there is no friends or relatives who has diagnosed with it. So, to my relief, we are all fine. Me and my wife and family, mother and father's friends,
Wonderful.
all of them, it's fine. Thank you so much.
That's
Thanks so
great
much.
news. Great news. Is it easy to get a test in Tokyo?
Yeah, maybe yes or not. If I had the symptoms of pneumonia or contacted with a person having a positive reaction, we can get tested at the health care center. But this moment, the number of tests is so below compared to another countries.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I would say that it is a Japanese strategy for against the virus. I'm not sure it is.
Okay. And when we were in Japan, we spent 6 weeks in Japan. We noticed how kind and thoughtful all the people were, especially the respect for the older generation.
Yes.
So is everybody taking the isolation very seriously?
Yeah, that's a good question. These days, so many Japanese elderly people are staying at home, but some elderly people are gathering each other some place. So it is very good to hear that. So, and but we are still in big trouble, and many people in March the drinking party with cherry blossom. Yeah, we are in spring, so we can see the many beautiful cherry blossoms. So some people were gathering with drinking beer. So even if these severe circumstances, some people are not staying at home.
We noticed when we were there, a lot of the older people would do exercises in the park.
Yeah. Yes. I would say that moving our body is very good thing. So if we exercise outside, it is imperative. It is crucial that keep distance each other. Almost 2 meters long or 3 meters long.
That's great news.
Yes.
And I read on the news that the government was giving parents money to teach their kids at home. Have they done other things to help give money to people that are losing income from their jobs?
Recently, Japanese government announced all of a sudden that we can receive 30,000 yen, about $2,800 US dollars per family if we lose income sharply.
Okay, that's great news.
Yeah, but in details will follow from Japanese government.
Okay.
Maybe in April.
And how are the residents taking the news of the Olympics being postponed?
Yes. That is bad news for Japanese people, Tokyo Game 2020. But it will be held to next year,
Yep.
Yeah. So it's a good news for Japanese people, or not canceled, but
Yeah.
just only postponed. Yeah, postponed. Yeah.
Wonderful.
So yeah, that's right. That's right.
And so are the restaurants and bars, is
Yes.
everything closed right now?
Maybe from now on.
Okay.
From now on, in some areas, for example, Tokyo Metropolitan, or some prefectures, so Greater Tokyo area, or Osaka City and Fukuoka City is some almost all Japanese restaurants or beer bars or clubs will be closing, or will be closing, or to make time to open is too short. It is shortened the time. Shortened the time open. Yes.
Okay. And I know that when we were there, I loved all the vending machines.
Vending machine.
There's vending machines everywhere. I assume you can still go to the vending machine, right? And get your drink?
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. So, Matt, you like the vending machine in Japan?
Crazy.
Japan?
So many vending machines.
Crazy. Yeah, in Japan, so we have so many vending machines, and they have all kinds of goods. Not only drinks, but also the snacks, medicine, and even the rice and the toys. So and bananas.
Yeah.
Bananas, apples,
fresh orange
eggs.
Juice.
Yeah. So, and even if the supermarket or or convenience store is closed, we can buy all of foods or essentials from vending machine.
Wonderful.
Yeah, and
that's
so there are so many vending machines in the vicinity and in walking distance around
Wonderful.
here.
Oh, that's great news. And so I guess, what are you planning to do during the isolation? Are you going to work on anything in particular? Or you read books, work out, work on English? Like, what are you going to do?
Firstly, in my opinion, Japanese people should think that this is a very precious moment, staying home. If working, we have to work. However, in addition, we have to stay home as much as we can. This means we don't need to go outside. We don't need to eat out from the vending machine. We have much time to spend at home. Usually we cannot. We have to regard this moment as a chance to beef up ourselves, our life, or our communication. So we have to think much of friends, wife, and family, and relatives. I think so. Generally speaking, yoga or meditation, walking at home, or video chat like this, Skype or Zoom, with friends. So, but especially, fortunately, we have my wife and I have been playing Pokemon Go with smartphone, so I can play it at home. Usually, we play Pokemon Go outside, but Niantic, its owner company, is mapping out some good ideas that allow us to be able to enjoy it at home, one after another. So yesterday night, I play Pokemon Go. This morning, we can play Pokemon Go. Pikachu.
That's fantastic.
Pikachu. Yeah, Japanese good character, lovely character. Pokemon Go, Pikachu.
Oh, that's great. Does the Japanese culture watch a lot of Netflix or Amazon Prime? Both?
Yeah, that's right. In Japan, Netflix or Amazon Prime or Talia online is are very popular. So we can watch we can watch plenty of movies and dramas. So even if we stay at home, we can enjoy watching TV shows, dramas, movies, cinemas, like so.
Wonderful.
It's very good. It's very good.
Very good. Okay.
Yeah.
I guess, do you have any final thoughts on this coronavirus time and how we should handle it?
Coronavirus is a new one. So we have not medicine or vaccine yet. It is crucial that we have to ward off the coronavirus, especially elderly people, or even if we're young people. It is time to help each other mutually and have to share the information about coronavirus for making a new medicine or vaccine at the fastest speed.
Okay. The countries, we should all collaborate, hopefully.
It is reported that so many countries or so many medical institutions have been practicing some medicine or vaccine. I hear that.
Excellent. I guess finally, we'll get through all this soon. It's hard to tell when, but when we do, people are going to travel again, especially with the Olympics coming up in Tokyo and in Japan.
Yes.
Please tell us why Tokyo is such a great city.
Oh, such a great city. Japanese people is very kind and honest. So we, on behalf of Japanese government or Japanese Prime Minister, we always welcome you from all over the world. So, and Tokyo Olympic game, Tokyo 2020, does not belong only Japan. Tokyo Olympic game is the thing all over the world. So, and so many people will attend many people all over the world will take part in the Tokyo 2020. So I hope to be held the Tokyo Olympic game next year and in safe and sound. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, and I know even without the Olympics, Tokyo is one of those cities around the world that everybody should try to visit because it is just one of a kind. People are kind and very thoughtful, but it's the numbers of people. It's so many people there. It's extremely clean. The bars.
Yeah, that's green. That's green.
Yeah, so safe. We felt so safe there. And the bars and restaurants are amazing. And the train system is fantastic.
Yes, fantastic.
Yeah.
It has good punctuality.
What's the word?
Punctual.
Punctual. Yeah, very
punctual.
Yes. It's very efficient. Okay, that is it. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. It was great catching up with you.
Okay, it is good.